Hi, I'm Dhali and welcome to the Zone. Today's practice is part 2 of the Progressive Downchill Series. This practice is a great way to help invigorate both body and mind after a busy day. It's progressing from part 1 in depth of posture chosen that'll increase in intensity. You'll need a mat and a couple of blocks. Let's get started.
To begin the class, bring the palms together in front of the chest. We're going to take a block and place the block underneath the sitting bones. Lifting up, we're going to transition taking our right leg back out on a 90-degree angle, making sure the shin bone is pressing firmly into the floor. This is Padikasana. Then we're going to place the palms down in front of us like so, keeping the navel directly in line on a 45-degree angle from the inside of the leg. From here, place the palms onto the floor or the fingertips. Pull the palms back towards you to get that lift and elevation out of the front of the body. Slowly take an inhalation. And as you exhale, start to fold forward. Some of you may be able to lower to the elbows straight away. Once again, spreading the fingers wide. We start to apply the 4 parts of our breath, keeping all the breathing in and out through the nose so the mouth is softly closed. The length of inhale and exhale are the same. The retention in between each inhale and exhale are about a second or 2 long. This is going to be quite strong through the inside of the straight leg. Some of you may be able to walk the palms a little forward and lower the head to the floor, like so. Keep drawing the throat up into the back of the neck. Then we're going to transition into the twist from here. So slowly as you inhale, lift the chest, walk the palms back. Stay seated onto the block. Lean the body over to place the hand on the inside of the calf, or interlock the big toe with the index and middle finger. From there, as you inhale, take the right arm up, internally rotate the arm, and place the hand into the small of the back. The throat draws into the back of the neck. I lift my right ear to lengthen through both right and left side of the neck, and then from here I turn. I extend the right elbow down and away so the shoulder moves away from the ear. The front of the body, the lower rib cage, draws in and down. You want to work at lifting that left armpit up and away to lengthen through the left side of the waist. Let the weight of the body sink down through your sitting bones into the block. Each time you inhale, you soften a little. Then as you exhale, you turn, but without forcing. Okay, other side. As we inhale, bring the palms together. We're going to adjust. From here, we draw and extend the leg out in front. I shift and adjust the buttock forward. The block is on a slight angle here. I lift up and sit onto the block, adjusting the left leg. Making sure that the shin bone is pressing down to the floor. Place the hands down, pull the palms back towards you to give that lift out of the front of the body. Then gradually seduce the body into the pose. And this may be enough for some of you. Making sure the toes of the straight leg are pointing directly up towards the ceiling, lowering down to the elbows. For those more experienced people, and you have to check in with the muscles on the inside of the legs. Make sure they allow you to get into the pose without forcing, without straining. The breath should be steady and comfortable. That's it. One more breath. going to slowly transition into the twist. So as you inhale, walk the palms back. Either grab the inside of the leg or interlock the big toe. As you inhale, extend up with the left arm, internally rotate and place the hand into the small of the back. Extending now the left elbow down and away. As we inhale, think of lifting the right armpit to lengthen through the right side of your waist. Throat retracts into the back of the neck, and then I drop the right ear down. Each inhale, I slightly absorb the breath by coming out of the twist, and as I exhale, I take the bridge of the nose towards the left ear. You want the weight even in both sitting bones. This may mean changing your hand position of the front straight leg. You might have to come back up like so to get the weight even. One more breath. Take an inhale. Exhale. Transitioning into Upavishta Konasana. Slowly release. Draw the shin bone in. Extend the leg out in front. Shift the weight of the buttock forward, and we take the block out. Okay, then we're going to turn, taking the legs out on a 90-degree angle. Now, some of you may not be able to access the forward bend because the lower spine is tucked under. So this is where you can grab a block and sit up onto the block, and it just enables you to tilt from the pelvis, yeah? Okay. Palms in front, spread the fingers wide. Pull the palms back towards you to give you that lift out of the sit bones. Then gently start to walk the palms forward. If you can get the elbows on the floor, draw the face into the back of the skull, the throat lifting into the back of the neck. Looking at the feet, toes want to be pointing directly up towards the ceiling. So you're not externally rotating the legs. For those more experienced, you can simply walk, seduce the body forward. And this may be enough for you. And if you have a block or a bolster, you can place the block underneath the forehead like so. If you don't need the block, you can simply lower the head down and then slide the hands back to grab hold of the heels. And then if it's comfortable, you rest the chin on the floor. Slow the breathing down. If you need to, the legs are slightly bent at the knees, just so you can access the pose. One more breath, then we'll slowly come up. Palms underneath the shoulders as you inhale, rise. From here we're going to twist the body. This time, once again, either place the right hand onto the inside of the calf or interlock the big toe. As we inhale, we stretch the left arm away, internally rotating the bicep, taking the hand behind. From here, I want you to work at pulling the right heel back into the body so the weight is even in both sitting bones. Then, draw the face into the back of the skull. The front of the body, the lower rib cage, draws slightly in and down. Once again, we want to work at lengthening through the right side of our waist by lifting the center of that right armpit. Each time you inhale, you uncoil out of the twist to absorb the breath, then as you exhale, turning. One more breath. Taking an inhale and exhale. To change sides, as we inhale, bring the palms together in front of the chest. Either place the left hand on the inside of the calf or interlock the big toe. As you inhale, raising the right arm, internally rotate. Remember to extend the elbow down and away so the shoulder doesn't come up towards the ear. Okay, this time pulling the left heel back into the body, lengthening through the left side of the waist by lifting the armpit on the left side. Keep the weight even in both sitting bones. Reducing the effort here. Just relying on the bone structure of the body to drop down through your sitting bones into the floor. As you inhale, remember to release the tension by slightly uncoiling out of the twist. Then as you exhale, you rotate. One more breath. Good. Transitioning, next pose, Baddha Konasana. So inhale, we turn back, place the palms together. We're going to take the hands behind us and draw the soles of the feet together. Okay, then you're going to lift up and take your sitting bones as close to your heels as you can. We take the thumbs underneath the pad of the big toe, and like your center page of a good book, we wrap the fingers and open up the feet like so. From here, as I inhale, I push down through the sitting bones to sit up. Now, if you notice that you're rounding through the base of the spine here and you can't sit up out of the sitting bones, this is where you would place the block underneath the soles of the feet. As we inhale, extend up through to the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, think of pressing the knees out to the sides away from each other rather than down into the floor. Keep long through the front of the body. Move in increments, using the breath as a guide to how deep you go on any given day. Watch the shoulders don't tense up and draw into the ears. Keep them soft and drawing back and down. To get a little deeper into the pose, I inhale, I draw the breath into the area of the body where it's feeling the tight, in the top of the groins. Then in the retention of breath, I try to soften the muscle structure. And as I exhale, I let the tension dissipate in this area. You have to really pinpoint where it is that they're feeling tight in the body and work at expanding to create space with the inhalation. One more breath. And then slowly inhale, coming up. I'm going to turn now to lying onto the back. Extend the feet out in front. Bring the heels together. Palms by your sides, lying down onto the floor. With your inhalation, you're going to raise the right leg up like so. We're going to bend the leg and interlock the fingers. Some of you may need the strap to place the strap around the sole of the foot. From here, we're going to straighten the leg. I lift the head off the floor to make sure that my left leg hasn't externally rotated. Yeah. So I internally rotate the left leg. I'll point the toes up towards the ceiling. But then I don't want to jam the groin, so I press the pad of the big toe of that left foot slightly away. Then I can lower back down like so. You may need to bend the leg like so. This is okay. For those that have the movement, try to keep that right shoulder onto the floor. Try to keep that left thigh internally rotated. the right foot, work at drawing those little toes back towards you. Then to release into the next pose, we're going to bend our left leg, taking the right foot just out across from the thigh. We're going to thread the right hand through the inside of the thighs, interlocking the fingers. For those that don't reach, grab the back of the hamstring. I tuck the chin into the chest, then I slowly roll the head back to the floor. With my right leg, I flex the toes back and I press that right knee away. Now it's important in this pose that I press the sitting bones down away from me. I don't want to jam one side of my hip by letting one sitting bone lift up. So press both sitting bones down and away. Now that you're lying on the floor, use the spine as a guide to breathe into the back of the body, drawing the breath down towards your kidneys. Take one more breath. And as you exhale, keep holding on to your left leg and straighten the right. Now that the right heel's on the floor, with the index and middle finger, interlock the big toe of the left leg. Let the head lift off the floor, tuck the chin into the chest, and then slowly lower down. You're either using the strap again or bend the leg like so. Once again, our right thigh. Work at internally rotating the right thigh, just a fraction. For those that can, keeping that left shoulder onto the floor. Our last little adjustment, the little toe on the left foot, draw it back down towards you. So you're getting an even stretch on both sides of that left ankle. One more breath. Nice slow inhalation, retention of breath. And as you exhale, we transition by bending the right leg, taking the left foot on top of that right thigh. Lift the chin, thread the left hand through, either grabbing the back of the hamstring, or for those that reach, interlock the fingers just below the kneecap. With the head off the floor, we're wanting to align the inside of that right thigh with the midline of the body. I flex the toes back of the left foot, then I start to press the left knee away from me as I lower my head back to the floor. You can adjust the depth of stretch here by pulling the shin bone down into the body or pushing the shin bone slightly away. You work out which position feels more comfortable for you. Keep the breath moving into the back of the body. Really work at keeping the length of that inhale and exhale the same. And one more breath. Take a slow inhalation. And exhale, release the left leg, extending both feet out in front, roll up to sitting. To adjust into the next pose, bend the legs, but this time bring the feet together. And if you have the lines on the mat, use them as a guide. Feet together, tuck the buttock under and draw the buttock close to the heels. Lower yourself back down onto the floor. Place the palms down by your sides. Tilt the pelvis to tuck the buttock under. If you're doing this correct, the sitting bones should now lift off the floor. We're going to slowly lift up with the hips, tucking the shoulder blades under one at a time. Then on an inhalation, elevate up with your right leg. Extend through the toes. Push down through the palms. Push that left heel down into the floor. Slowly as you exhale, we're going to lower the right foot to the floor. With the very next inhale, elevate up with that left. Reducing the effort here. Relaxing that throat into the back of the neck. And with your very next exhalation, lower the foot to the floor. Lower the buttock down. From here, cross the feet. Tuck the chin into the chest. We're going to roll up to sitting here, so we push the shin bones forward. I'm going to slide the buttock slightly back. From here, sit up by pressing the lower rib cage towards the thighs. Take your arms horizontal to the floor, palms shoulder width apart. Then gradually, we're going to lift the feet up off the floor like so. For those you can, keep the shin bones horizontal to the floor. Draw the shoulder blades back and down. Almost there. We're going to transition from here by crossing the feet. Keep the heels off the floor as long as you can. Okay, from here, take the hands forward. Push with the palms, push with the feet to lift up. Create space so you can step the feet back and lower down through chaturanga and hold. And lower yourself down to the floor. Dhanurasana. I bend the legs and I circle my arms back one at a time. I grab hold of my ankles. I then lower the forehead to the floor. Okay, we keep the forehead onto the floor. And without the forehead lifting up, I want you to press the shin bones back, just to get a nice stretch through the top of the thighs, nice and gentle to begin with. So if you're getting this correct, the kneecaps will just off the floor. Okay, now we're going to lower the knees to the floor. We keep the knees on the floor and we peel the chest up, keeping our thighs down. Then we combine both. We slowly let the knees come up. Okay. As I inhale, I'm using my hands to pull the feet up to the ceiling. But as I exhale, I press the shin bones back. But then as I inhale, I lift up. As I exhale, I push the shin bones back a little more. Okay. And slowly as you exhale, lowering down to the floor. From here, release the legs, scoop up from the kidneys, take the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, draw the knees forward, lower your buttocks back to the floor. Pause here. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Now to pull you out of the back bend, we're going to use Bakasana today as the counter pose. To do so, I lift the head up, I shift the weight of the hips forward. I slide my hands back, and then I come up onto the toes. From here, I take the knees out nice and wide. Yeah. Some of you may need to place a block underneath the feet to give you the elevation to help transition off the floor. I found it easier to do this pose by taking the knees out as wide as I possibly can, because I want to get the elbows down low, as if I'm lowering, like so, the elbows to the floor. Then I walk the hands back in. Yeah, I'm trying to get the back of the shin bone right up near the knee, onto the back of my armpits. Yeah. From here, I start to push my elbows back into the shin bones. I start to push my shin bones into my arms. Then I lift the buttock up, and it's simply a transition of weight. So instead of using the muscles, I lean forward until I feel the weight come out of my feet like so. And we just pause here. And then slowly, with control, you lower one foot, the other to the floor, lower down, extend the legs out in front. Next pose, we're going to be bending the right leg. We take the heel out to the side of our sitting bones. Then from here, I'm going to take the elbow and push it back against the shin bone. I place the palms down in front of the body and I pull the palms back to lift me up. Then as I exhale, you either keep the palms here or circle the hands, Marichyasana, into the small of the back. Now there's really nowhere to go into this pose except to push the spine backwards just a fraction. And then slowly just let gravity take over as you round through the spine, lowering the forehead towards the knee. Now some schools allow the right sitting bone to come off the floor, but you can see what happens here in the lower back. I compress and jam the lower vertebra. So I like to keep the sitting bone grounded, and I can move from a stable foundation. Keep reducing the effort. Let the shoulders relax completely in this pose. Okay, transitioning to the other side. Slowly as we inhale, we come up. Bring the palms together. Exhale, straighten the leg. Take the heel out wider than the sit bone. Palms wide. Push the upper arm back into the leg. Either pause here, pulling the palms back in towards the body, or binding, and let gravity take over. It's really important that you keep the weight in that left sitting bone. You may even need the block for this pose, yeah, under both sitting bones. This will just give you a little bit of elevation to allow you to move into the posture. One more breath. And slowly as you inhale, coming up, bring the palms together. Exhale, extend the legs out in front. Take the feet hip width apart. Take the ankle underneath the back of the knee. Sole of foot parallel with the outside of the thigh. Taking the heel as wide as the opposite knee. I use the blocks here as a guide to make sure that the heels are as wide as my knees, but also to press the pad of the big toe and the heel into the block. Make sure that you are square. You may need to move the hips from side to side, palms in front of the body. Pull the hands back in to give you elevation, lengthening from the pubic bone to the base of the throat. Then slowly walk the palms forward and down. Swastikasana. to transition into the other side. Slowly in your own time, walk the hands back. Take the hands behind, adjusting. Just once again checking which leg you've crossed underneath first. Change sides. Use the blocks to check whether your heels are as wide as the opposite knee. Yeah. We use the blocks in this manner to make sure you're getting the correct movement in the hips. Yeah. Otherwise the pressure comes into the knee. Okay, and then palms in front, pull the palms back towards you to give you that lift. Now for those of you that like to try a deeper variation with the arms, we place the palms onto the knees and turn, taking the elbows towards the floor. If this is too much, then you just take the hands forward, like so. Keep that throat lifting into the back of the neck. Allow the breath to resume back to its natural flow. From effort, give your body time and space to surrender. And that's enough for today. For those of you that like to take Shavasana, you slowly can transition to lying onto the back. As we inhale, lift the chest, stretch the legs away, roll down through the spine, eyes close. From effort, give your body time and space to sink, to merge into the floor.